Hey y'all,
Hi guys, I'm Genevieve, Positive Peach,
I'm Alex, joyfully rare,
and this is
and this is
Positively
Positively
Walking
Walking with
with
Mito.
Mito.
All right, so who are you?
I am Genevieve Woods, aka Peach. And who are you?
I'm Alex Salser, also known as joyfully rare. All right, so tell us, what is Mito?
In a nutshell, Mito is when your mitochondria are malfunctioning and can negatively affect the other parts of your body.
So what is your Mito specifically?
I have mitochondrial neuropathy ATP deletion. Alex, what is your Mito?
My Mito is a subcategory as a fatty acid oxidation disorder, and it's basically where my body cannot break down fats and turn them into energy. And my specific form is called LCHAT.
What is Mito for you? I know I just explained, but can you explain it in like a different way that probably makes more sense?
So for me, Mito is a broad term that something is wrong with my mitochondria, and it doesn't quite work how a normal person's mitochondria would work. And that is the source of how our cells get energy. And so I have an energy problem because of that. And so that is kind of the basis of my Mito.
And what do you do as joyfully rare?
So, as joyfully rare, I want to be able to spread a positive outlook of living with a rare disease. And having the name joyfully rare, it incorporates a lot of who I am. I have a supernatural joy that does not come from me. And even though I'm living with a rare disease, I'm joyfully living with it. And so that's kind of my message with joyfully rare. So, what do you do as Peach?
My message with Peach is simple. I want to spread positivity. No matter who you are, I believe that you can always use a little bit more positivity in your life. Whether you are a single mom, whether you are chronically ill, whether you're just somebody who just needs to find a reason to be a little bit more and more happy. We are your gals.
So, why are we doing this podcast?
For me, I am doing this podcast to spread positivity to as many people as possible.
I know for me, I'm definitely want to spread that positivity as well. And we have unique stories to tell, and hopefully, people can learn from our personal experiences and our outlook on life.
Now, this is something that I'm super curious about because we have very, very different kinds of Mito. So, how does your Mito affect you?
Yes, so my Mito is a daily challenge. Um, I wake up every day and have to figure out which brand of my Mito I'm getting that day. I manage with a fasting, eating, and medication routine all throughout the day. And I have to be very responsible with when I'm eating, what I'm eating a low fat diet, and also being mindful that my muscles don't always have the energy to work at 100%. I am at risk for going into rhabdomyolysis a lot. And so that is also a daily mindset of monitoring my muscles, and I cannot always walk very far. I have to use a wheelchair or my wonderful bright yellow scooter. You know, if you got to use something, it has to be fun, right? And I think even though my mind out is something where I'm constantly thinking about in the day, I am putting it into my daily life of what I want to do. I'm a college student currently, and I'm able to manage my Mito within the things that I want to be doing. As a current college student, I go to class, I have a friend life, and I'm able to have fun and do the things I want to do. And that is all with my disorder. And I don't let it stop me from doing what I want to do. There are limitations, but I'm able to achieve my life goals and live to the fullest, even within those. How does your Mito affect you on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, my mitochondrial disease affects my walking, affects my eyesight, affects the muscles in my hands, and my ability to feel things because I have damaged muscles and nerves throughout my entire body, and all of the cells in my body are damaged. So my mitochondria are constantly working against me.
I feel that.
Oh, can you briefly, without going into huge detail, because I want to dedicate more time to this later on, can you explain kind of what rhabdomyolysis is in like a couple of words?
Yes, so rhabdomyolysis is basically when your muscles are overworked and they start breaking down. With the metabolic disorder, it can sort of just happen because it's too hot outside or you don't have enough energy resources on board. So that's why it's a little more sensitive.
How do you feel about Mito?
I think Mito is an adventure. It is a challenge, and you don't always know what is coming next. So it keeps me on my toes, even though I can't stand on my toes because my muscles are weak. But I definitely see Mito as something that is part of what makes me unique and is part of my story. How do you feel about Mito?
So for me, Mito is a gift or a blessing because it allows me to have a different perspective than other people would. It My life is always being threatened in that my life is always has the ability to be shortened, and I never know um if my atrophy is being worse that day, or if it is not working on overload. So if I have longer capacity to use my muscles that day, I'm happy. And I'm happy either way, but it's just more anxiety inducing. But I'm grateful for Mito because I get to see the world in a totally different way, in the way that makes me value my life, and I live for every single day and try to live it to the fullest.
Absolutely. I've definitely taken the motto of taking it one step at a time. And as each step that you can take or roll, whichever one we got to do, it's something that makes you think more about the today and how you can live your best into the fullest today. Okay, so why did we name this podcast Positively Walking with Mito?
We think about positivity first. Above all else, the most important thing to us is positivity. And then we both struggle to walk. So I think that's, at least for me, I can't speak for Alex, well, she will in a second. Um, for me, the thing I struggle with the most is my walking. And um so the two things are kind of synonymous. I can get frustrated with my walking, but I can kind of counter out that frustration with positivity. Like, you maybe be able to walk better tomorrow, or there's a reason why you're having trouble walking. It's not just you didn't do enough yesterday. At the end of the day, don't beat yourself up so much about not being able to walk that well. You do have a disease, so don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, for sure. When I started having the physical elements of having LCHAD, my chronic illness was no longer invisible. And people could see I was walking differently, or now I'm in a wheelchair or riding on a scooter. And so that walking element is definitely a challenge for me. And it's definitely what people see first sometimes. And when I come across and talk to somebody and I'm just hitting them with a smile and my trying to live with my positive attitude in life, that's something that I would rather people see the positive outlook and where I'm coming from in life at the core of me rather than my disability and those troubles in walking. And I think that's why this podcast definitely incorporates, both our stories because we're both positively going through it, whether we're walking well one day or not.
Alex, why should the audience listen to you?
That's a great question. Uh, I think I have lived 2 decades with a Mito, but ultimately I have learned a lot of lessons from it. And I want to be able to share through my experiences with other people. I want people to be able to potentially learn from me and things that I wish I would have known maybe from the beginning, things I wish my parents would have known from the beginning. Diagnosis journeys are hard, they're scary, and for someone that is trying to live their life with a rare disease and all, it hopefully is something that people can see and hear about that brings them hope and something that they can hold on to. I hope to be a light into people's lives and be able to share the hope that I have and why I am so positive and all that comes with the disorder. There's ups, there's downs, there's tears, there's laughter. Sometimes they're at the same time, and that's okay. And I'm here to say it's okay because I know what it is like to be there. And so I'm hoping that, if people listen, they come away feeling more hopeful and that it's going to be okay. It, it is. So, why should people listen to you, girl?
I think people should listen to me because um like I like I said, Mito gives me a rare perspective that I think that people should listen to. Not just because I'm diseased and other people who are diseased should be able to listen to me. Or you could say like, oh, you're diseased, I'm not, why should I listen to you? I am positive before I'm diseased. I'm positive no matter what the circumstances are. So, I also think that I would have liked to have a role model like myself whenever I was first diagnosed, because it is very scary living a relatively normal life and then being told you have a rare fatal disease, because I was not diagnosed at birth with Mito. I discovered I had it later on in my teens. So I had to go through a identity crisis of who am I and who am I going to be because of this. And I decided that I was going to be positive and I was going to live a simple life in response to getting a fatal diagnosis, was something that I couldn't do anything about. I couldn't um take certain medications to reverse it. It was in my DNA and there was no cure. And uh, maybe we might be a long shot from a cure. I can't put all of my eggs in the cure basket and put it on someone else. I chose to positively live with my rare disease, and I'm positively keeping a smile on my face every day, even though some days it's harder to walk than others.
How did you choose positivity?
I chose positivity shortly after I was diagnosed. I kind of went through the stages of grief kind of quickly because I didn't really have a ton of time to grief. I was 15 whenever I was diagnosed. So I didn't have to mourn a lot, but I have to realize that maybe all those things that everybody was going to have was not going to be one of the things that I was going to be able to experience. So I'm like, okay, I have two options. I can be sad and I can hate the world because I was given a different hand than everybody else, or I could be a positive role model for other people. I could be happy and I could choose to spread that happiness to those who haven't yet discovered that mitochondrial disease, even though it could be viewed as a death sentence, doesn't have to be a mental state life sentence. You could be experiencing very rough symptoms, but you can be happy experiencing rough symptoms. Why did you choose positivity, Alex?
Well, I chose positivity because I know that my genetics were put together the way they were meant to be put together. And my personal belief is that I have a joy and a hope that can only come from Jesus, and that is my personal story. And something that I believe is through the highs and lows, He puts a purpose to my pain, and it's something where as I walk through every day, I know that it is not about me, and it is something that I can be a vessel to spread light. And this El Chad configuration inside of me that has made me unique in this way is only a tool that he can use to spread that positivity and joy in this world.
I like that. That is very um groundbreaking. I don't think that it takes people a long time to come to that consensus that they are vessels, that their life is not really their own per se. Whenever you're given a different perspective, you are not living per se for yourself. You're living to um give your rare opinion to someone else in your rare perspective.
For sure. And it's definitely a perspective that I take as my own, not something I try and push on other people. But I hope that people come away from talking to me with an uplifting feeling and that they see that light in me.
I like that a lot. I think we need to see the light in other people a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Alex, would you please share with our audience how we met?
Yes. So I remember in the Facebook stalking land that I had been connected with an organization called Mito Action. And through some of the support pages, I had seen positive peach posts. And I would watch your videos on just kind of some dialogue of like how you're going through the day, things maybe you were struggling with, and how you are working through that. And I felt like those were very real, and I could really relate to like, yes, I'm there right now too, and how you can turn that around and be able to acknowledge the hard times, but also move with a positive outlook to the next step. And I really related with that. And I do think we like reached out and like talked a little bit on like message after that. And then I think for a little bit just kind of did our own thing. And I got more plugged in with Mito Action and being a helper in the FOD portion of the Mito Action community. And through that, I felt like personally, I'd love to share my voice with people. And the way that I articulate things and advocate for myself is something that a lot of people really find interesting to listen to and that they can take away from. And it's like, well, I'd love to like share my perspective more and share my story. And it's like, maybe I need to start a podcast. But I did not share this with anybody. It was just kind of in my heart. I felt like it's something I needed to be thinking about. And then we were reconnected. Okay. And we were just talking a little bit. And then I think I think you reached out and was like, "Hey, I've been thinking I really want to like share my voice more and maybe start a podcast." And I was like, "No way. I want to start a podcast too." That's how I remember it.
Um, Now I do want to say who reconnected us the second time. Um, I was just kind of doing my thing, whatever, and then one day, I was texted, or I had received a text from the CEO of Mito Action, Kyra Man, saying that I should reach out to this person named Alexandra Salser. And I'm like, that name's familiar. I'm like, I don't know who exactly that is, but I had like, I think I talked to her before. Let me go check my past messages. And I'm like, oh, I'm a bad person. I did talk to her at one point, but I didn't continue doing it. Kind of dropped the ball on that one. I'll take ownership for that. So whenever we started talking again, I'm like, oh, so I do remember this being a positive like experience. And I remember something that Alex had said about wanting to start a podcast. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do that too. So then I remember calling you the one day going, did you ever mention this? And you're like, yes, I do. So that's basically how we got reconnected through Mito Action and Kyra Man and their wonderful resources. To find out more about what Mito is, please check out Mito Action's website for their fabulous resources, their videos, their expert series, their collaborations with other organizations and doctors who are doing fabulous research on therapies and cures for the various kinds of Mito.
Yes, I love all the resources that Mito Action has and the way that they're personally wanting to reach the FOD community in the midst of the mitochondrial disease community as a whole. And they truly love what they do and the people that they're doing it for. And that's something that I truly see and have felt the impact of. I just love everybody over there at Mito Action.
Yes.
Thank you for listening.
You can check us out on all our social media platforms.
And we hope you continue walking with us.